Hello, everyone. I invite you on a journey about perfection and the power of imperfection. Day after day, we are confronted with the pursuit of perfection. From social media filters to Photoshopped magazine covers and optimized web contents to AI-generated images and texts, we are constantly bombarded with stories of supposed perfection. The pressure to fulfill our roles perfectly permeates many aspects of our life. Our look, our behavior, our relationships, and our career. The ideal of perfection is anchored in our economic and social system. We continuously develop the ideal based on values that lead us to believe that we should achieve this state. For example, modern AI apps describe a perfect person based on my prompt as follows. According to ChatGPT, a perfect person embodies the 20 values framed in green color. According to Perplexity, a perfect person embodies the 19 values framed in purple color. Both apps answered with the same values in the middle of this visualization. The diversity of these values is extremely high, and the underlying values, intelligent and healthy, are part of our human nature and can't be learned. So, it's incredibly difficult for us to embody all these values in one lifetime. Throughout our history, many personalities have explained their view of perfection and contributed to a mutual understanding of the perceived ideal. We can ask people or Google for the definition of perfection or craft a prompt for an AI to define perfection. We will find many explanations. Perfection is subjective. We can probably all agree that perfection is an illusion, a theoretical ideal created by humans. Perfectionism is an endeavor that robs many of us the ability to find joy and meaning in the present moment and causes us to focus on an imagined future state. It's like being on a hamster wheel because perfection is an unattainable goal. Have you ever asked yourself for whom or what you should be perfect? On the contrary, human imperfection is reality that reminds us of our nature. Flaws, mistakes, and failures are part of our life and connect us. We all have our imperfections. Some are more obvious than others. When we acknowledge our imperfections, we give ourselves permission to be authentic, vulnerable, and fully human. At the same time, we accept the imperfections of others. This creates a more inclusive and supportive environment. Our imperfections are a source of power and a source from which we create the most meaningful stories in life. I am Roger. I embrace my imperfections. I don't manage that equally well every day, but I know that they are part of my path to personal development and growth. I was born with dysmelia in my right arm. Dysmelia is the incomplete development of a body part due to a disturbance in embryonic development. I received my first prosthesis when I was 4 years old. My parents never stopped or protected me from doing things that required two hands, so I learned to accept my handicap and to do my things with one hand together with my prosthesis. As a result, I was able to do whatever I wanted as a teenager and grow beyond my boundaries. Not always to the delight of my parents. I completed my apprenticeship and started my career and built an independent life. I got my first job as a client advisor. I moved into a shared flat with friends. I played football and made it into the selection of the national team. I got my driving license for motorbikes and cars. I bought a motorbike because I didn't have enough money for a car. I used my left hand to operate the throttle, clutch, and front brake. I remember when the examiner rode with me in the back seat through the city, watching me closely how I operated the motorbike. Thanks to my orthopedic technician, I have the support of the right type of prosthesis throughout my life. I can directly influence the design and cosmetics of my prosthesis. This helps me master my physical tasks and embrace my handicap. Of course, I also experienced and still experience tough times when I must overcome unpleasant events and expose my handicap. For example, when I was a teenager, a relationship with a girlfriend broke up. Her parents didn't accept me as a boyfriend because of my handicap. I was not their idea of a partner. My girlfriend insisted and fought for our relationship, but it took too much energy. This was a setback to my beliefs about cultured people. My personal response was to swear that I would teach my children different values. Or a few years ago, I didn't get a job because of my handicap. During the second interview with a management representative, I was asked why I use my left hand to shake hands and not my right hand, and how I would close a good deal with a strong handshake with my left hand. I didn't receive an invitation to the following assessment center. I was professionally informed that I didn't meet the expectations of representing the company to clients, especially at conferences and networking events. This was a setback to my beliefs about educated people. My personal response was to start a consulting business with a good friend. Experiences like this were hard, but helped me build my resilience to handle setbacks in my life. Thanks to an interesting offer from my current employer, I decided to return to an employment relationship, which brings me to this moment here, standing in front of you. Today I am at peace with my imperfections and grateful for my life and career, not least because I remain true to myself. I have worked with people in different roles and from diverse backgrounds. I have traveled many countries and experienced their culture. I have learned that sharing my imperfections, including being authentic and showing vulnerability, often disarms people's ideal of perfection and creates an environment of trust, positive energy, and strong relationships. I believe the way to a successful and sustainable future is to harness our imperfections as a source of power to develop and grow, rather than to pursue a theoretical ideal of perfection. In my role as a father, together with my wonderful wife, we teach our children to embrace their imperfections. With this concept, we aim to build their self-esteem, support to develop their skills for self-realization, and to convey values of social responsibility. For example, when my children are asked why their father has only one arm, I explain to them the nature of human imperfection and that people could have mental or physical handicaps. We discuss the negative and positive aspects and opportunities that come with our imperfections. In my co-leadership role at a Swiss software engineering company, I encourage my colleagues to embrace and share their imperfections. By doing this, we can spark creativity, innovation, and foster a learning culture. Together with my peers, we promote a culture and values that support trust and safety, as well as opportunities for personal development and growth. Failing forward is an important skill for me. I have defined my 4 principles that guide me to rebound from failure and keep moving forward. I really hope they are valuable to you too. I value myself. I have a healthy self-confidence that is not dictated by people or external events. When I fail, I don't call myself a failure. I reflect on myself to understand the setback and learn from mistakes. I don't point fingers. When I fail, I don't blame others for my lack of success, because blaming others prevents me from learning from mistakes. I want to develop myself and learn from my imperfections. I see failure as temporary. I can separate setbacks from my self-worth. When I fail, I trust myself and have a positive mindset. By putting the setback into perspective, I can see failure as a limited event rather than as a state of inability. I move forward. I know we all fail because we are not perfect. When I fail, I change my approach until I find the right solution that works. I move on, knowing that the past can't be changed. I want to stay true to myself and make a positive impact on myself and my environment. Looking forward. Imperfections and failures are valuable stepping stones for personal growth. I hope we can create a culture that embraces our imperfections and encourages us to share them openly with no reason to hide or be ashamed. I hope my children don't have to handle the same kind of setbacks that I did. I hope embracing imperfection will become a source of power for all of us. By recognizing that our imperfections are not a state of inability, but a path to personal development and growth, we will build a world that is more inclusive, resilient, and adaptable. We will find new ways to thrive together, imperfectly, successfully, and sustainably. Our response holds the key to our future. I am imperfect. I embrace my imperfections. I fail. I keep moving forward. I invite you to think about your own imperfections and how embracing them can lead to new opportunities and personal growth in your life. Thank you.